We only getting started. Yeah, I got the light. He got the light. We got the light. What you know about it? So much light. More light than a spike in your power bill. Or a match when it strike, we devour ill. They don't know how to feel. Their minds crippled, mental game bangers. Never saw losers, but we game changers. Rearrange strangers with the Rickers. Next mission, bring the light to your home, electrician. I've been grinding since the basement. If you know, you know, man, you not adjacent. I'm in a league of my own. My soul speaking through poems. Both your speakers are blown for my songs. Let's get it on. I'm ready for the challenge. The dichotomy of dark and light is all about balance. Life's never perfect. Beauty runs deeper than the surface. Album on sale, but the soul not for purchase. Birth this ill style with mild symptoms against them ecstatic. I'm a shock to the system. Warrior. Battle scarred, yet these bars hard. Thus became an author, not the aardvark. I say, this the hard part. Restarted the lost art. Can make a smash from the mouth. I'm an all-star. Like this, light switch. Life is priceless. Like this, light switch. Life is priceless. Hit the light switch if you need a light switch. Like this, right quick for the night shift. I got the light, he got the light, we got the light switch. Sacrifice a ticket to the afterlife. My mission isn't done on earth. Alert the jerseys versus fuel my appetite. I have the right insight. World needs the facts of life. Healthy as an apple slice. This what real rappers like. International. Took a vacation. Still working on my sabbatical. Casual but tactical.
Listen up, please.
I'm more than a chess piece. Pawn starving a bargain for scraps while the rest eat. Left me to fend for myself and I conquered where the wild things are with the monsters. As the earth keeps turning, lies keep churning. My eyes see burning. Fire desire with quiet, I'm blessed as 3 sermons. Speaking that breeze, the feet vermin. Billie Jean, you can see the light. Every step that I take, walk with a glow kept to my fate. Like this, light switch. Like this, priceless. Like this, light switch. Like this, priceless. Hit the light switch if you need a light switch. Like this, right quick for the night shift. I got the light, he got the light, we got the light switch. Shine on, young king, with the gleam of a colorful dreamer. Clean by the redeemer, queens of radiant demeanor. Beams of light, I know you've seen us. Shine bright through the zeitgeist. Baking on jewels, hit a nice heist. Drop a few gems, then ignite mics. Land of the free, but it comes with a slight price. You are not nice. Rappers want to battle, not a sweat. Quiet is kept like Naruto's wife. He not a threat, young vet in the place. Masses, brains all trash. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Darkness embraced like a plague. But our light never would be dim. Better grab a pair of shades. But shine all in your face. I got the light, he got the light switch. We can't stop shining, fam. It's what we do. Paint the sky blue. I'm feeling a little static shock out here. What? They talk about
John, what is that band on your head?
Oh, this? It's a ninja headband, you know. Well, it's just my ninja way, Datebayo. What did I just say?
Kind regards, masses, it's me, Highbike, and I am back with some more Hakuoki Chronicles of Wind and Blossom. The song that we were listening to for pre-stream was Light Switch from Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. That's a game that I'd like to play. It's very heavily inspired by Jet Set Radio, and hell, I still need to play Jet Set Radio Future. Will I get to play it before the new Jet Set Radio game's coming out? I don't know. But yeah, no, the soundtrack from Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is just as funky fresh as Jet Set Radio, the Jet Set Radio franchise's soundtracks. I love how smooth this one is, and I love the shout out to Hinata Hyuga from Naruto. Because he's addressing her as, well, I don't think this is really spoilers at this point, but, you know, Naruto's wife. So, yeah, no, very cool song. And speaking of Naruto, the pre-stream video is something I found from Instagram. That Sora AI shit is, that's so whack. Like, everything from that, like, seems so real. Like, almost like no wonder it's like some people get fooled by AI. Like, it's just insane how developed AI is starting to become. It's kind of scary, but that John Lennon as Naruto video, I think it's hilarious. Like, just hearing John Lennon with, and like him wearing the headband, it's funny. I like how at the end he's all like, "What did I just say?" Like, I initially took that as, like, he didn't know what the fuck he was saying. Like, wow, that came out of my mouth. But I'm also starting to think that maybe it's just being all like, what did I just say? Like, as in, like Naruto just kind of being, you know, his same confident self. His cockiness! But, yeah, when it's just all like, you know, you better remember what I say. So, like, you know, tell me what I said back, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't remember if Naruto actually says that line, but Datebayo is definitely Naruto's catchphrase. At least, you know, if you're watching the original sub, reading, or if you're reading the many manga translations that, you know, don't translate it. But yeah, that's that. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Oh man, work was so chill until the end. I'll get to that in a bit, but I will make this a drinking game stream because I like to drink on my Fridays, and also Hakuoki always gives the best drinking games, so we'll be doing that. I got my Sapporo with me. Excuse me, and let me actually put some music on in the background. Speaking of Jet Set Radio, gonna have some of the Jet Set Radio Future soundtrack playing, but yeah. There's a lot of drinking game prompts, so I want to get those out of the way before we go on with anything else. So, let me readjust that. Alright, without further ado, if you'd like to take part with an alcoholic beverage or a non-alcoholic beverage, I'll let you know when to drink. So, drink every time Yukimura says huh, every time Yukimura is useless, twice if she angsts about not being able to help more, every time we get a CG, any member of the Shinsengumi appears out of nowhere to save Yukimura in the nick of time. Okita casually mentions killing someone, twice if it's Yukimura. Someone completely fails to be fooled by Yukimura's cross-dressing. Someone mentions seppuku, twice if they're actually expressing the intention to commit seppuku. Yukimura cries, twice if it happens when someone else is obviously holding back tears. Saito or Yamazaki turns out to have been lurking unseen in the shadows. Anyone calls a previously unseen lurker out of the shadows because they could tell all along that a person was there. I just realized, like, I like how these two are right next to each other. It's like, oh yes, we hide him. The we hide him prompts. Which, we got two of those at the same time, because it's like, it was Yamazaki and someone else lurking in the shadows, and Saito called them out. So it's like, you know, we could count this as two prompts. So they were clever putting that. Whoever made these prompts, or at least sorted them like this, clever putting them together, so you don't miss one or the other. Anyways, Yukimura serves tea. Drink when she sweeps, like Yukimura sweeps, like you know, she's cleaning with the broom. When Hijikata and Kazuma face off, Saito and Amagiri face off, Harada and Shiranui face off. Drink a whole bunch when the three above occur at the same time. Someone points out that not having to protect Yukimura would leave the Shinsengumi better off, but the Shinsengumi, or any individual member thereof, insists on continuing to do so anyway. Someone has an episode of Fury Bloodlust. Kazuma calls any member of the Shinsengumi insects, or dogs of the shogunate. Kazuma talks about the Furies being fakes. Okita coughs. Okita says, "I could still fight." Hijikata says any form of "that's an order." Harada talks about how it's a man's duty to protect women and or children. Saito delivers a soliloquy about swords. Honestly, this is his route, but like, we haven't really seen that prompt at all. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe we'll see more of that in the Edo Blossoms portion that we're in now, but well, only time will tell, right? Drink when Heisuke inks about being a monster. When someone drinks Yukimura's blood. Amagiri interrupts and stops a fight. You hear the phrase warrior spirit or Bushi no Tamashi. Someone tells Yukimura any form of I leave, insert whoever's route it is to you. Hijikata says, what the hell, or nandato. Every time someone says, seriously? Sheesh, don't worry, for real, calm down. Among white, or thank you so much. Every time I make a wrong choice and have to go back. Every time a character dies. Every time anyone is loud. 2 drinks if it's Nagakura. Every time alcohol is involved. Every time Kazuma insists Yukimura should be his waifu. Every time Okita simps for Kondo. Every time the date is announced. And for every grammar or spelling error. And I know there's a shit ton of prompts, but if anyone ever has any prompt ideas, let me know and I'll consider adding them to the document. But I'll go ahead and turn the music off. Oh man, I was liking that beat there too. But yeah, where's 4K? There it is. I just had to full screen that. But yeah, no, today was just very chill for the most part. I mean, we did have a client that she was left over from night shift and they wanted her in a homeless shelter. So I was like, okay, here, I'll call to see what I can get her into. I had a reservation for like at one of the shelters later on in the day. And she was like, oh, cool, thank you so much. Thank you. And, but, I don't know what happened because I was on the phone at the time. But, she was asking to take a smoke break and like Dick was saying, okay, yeah, you can go out by yourself. And then she's like, no, I want you to open the door for me, or at least this is what I think happened. That's what I heard happened. But and now she started getting all angry and she is like, you shut the fuck up, you have to, lock me out, whatever. I don't know, like she was throwing a fit. So she could still always walk up to the shelter and be like, oh yeah, I have an appointment, but I don't know if she's gonna remember that. Like once she walked out, that's it, she got discharged. So I don't know what the fuck happened there, but she is kind of a frequenter for us, and it's usually the same stuff. Usually she always 50% of the time she flips out and just storms off if she doesn't get her way. So that is what it is. But yeah, it was just so quiet for the majority of the day. And I finished my emails in the morning. Like, that never happens. Like, I had less clients to write up about. And it's just been so long since I finished, early. Like, the one team that I sent a shit ton of emails to, they didn't really have too many, I didn't have too many notes to read for who they had, so that was great. Yeah. But towards the end of the day, so Dick leaves around noon on Fridays because he has to do his get his children's hours for getting his license as a therapist. So he goes to a different site to work. So we were one man down, and then we were another man down because Kyler 2.0, she and her girlfriend won tickets to a Lisa concert here in Bakersfield. Like Lisa and other oldies bands like Expose, I don't remember who else, but like a bunch of these artists that were like kind of R&B dance that were popular in the 80s. So she left at 4 p.m. So we did have one of the practicum students there, but after 5 it was just me and Bodhi, and it was still nice. Like, my Met friend brought 3 clients overall to us. One of them had to go to PEG because he really needed the PEG help because his stuff was he needed medications, but he wouldn't be stable without them, and he kind of had been off of them for a while, so it's like, oh shit. this could be serious. So he actually needed the help. And let's see. Like, very much towards the end of the shift, we got, like, one person, I'm, like, walking them in. A different mobile team staff member called us and was like, I'm bringing one in. Kyler's at work, so I usually like to meet up with him before the end of my shift and before the start of his shift. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna step out for a bit because, you know, everything was calm, everything was taken care of. But that fucking mobile team member, he brought 2 clients. One of them he didn't even know the name of. It's like no name, no date of birth, no way to identify this person, and she was Spanish speaking. None of us speak Spanish except for one person on the night shift who wasn't there at the time. So it's like, how the fuck are you working with this person and like sending this person to us? Like, that's not the only time something like that has happened, and with a different mobile team staff member. It's just like, it's not that hard to ask for basic information, because it's like we can't really look them up in our system and be like, oh, you know, get background, or have they had services with us before. We really kind of help out with the plan. But yeah, no, it was ridiculous. And then Peck sends us another one after that. And this is like minutes before shift is over, so we're just kind of scrambling to get everything together. But now I'm here at home. I did also want to get my bangs trimmed because they are starting to get long. So I wanted to go get a haircut, but the thing that sucks is all the hair salons close like late, and the only place available is like Supercuts, and they close at 8. So usually I do walk-ups, and it's just fine because in my part of town, you know, it's not really too busy. But when I got there, the girl, it was just one person. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we're booked for the whole day. No more opening." And I'm like, "Damn." So I'm not gonna be able to go till maybe at least Sunday or something, because tomorrow after work I need to get my wedding dress fitted by one of my friends. So I'm thinking of streaming tomorrow. I'm thinking, I think that's what I'll do. Because I'm probably gonna be tired, and like I'm thinking Fear and Hunger tomorrow. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. And that, because then on Sunday I'm just pretty much free after like 6:30. We could do both movie on Discord and a game, but I'll share more about that later. However, I do need to address, if anyone is on the Discord server, my Discord server, and has not voted for a movie yet, or okay, please vote between Carrie and Blade, because they're both tied. I kept forgetting. I wanted to ask in the previous streams, but I kept forgetting. Otherwise, I'll ask Kyler to be the tiebreaker. Because, I mean, it's not gonna matter if he watches or not, because, like, he's gonna be working, but I just need to break the tie. It's like 2 people voted for both of those movies, and, yeah, we're stuck. We're stuck. Epic bra moments, for real. Like, it's just one thing after another. To make up for it, though, I went to Subway. Like, like a few streams ago, I was like, oh, I'm craving mayo. So I went out, got a BLT with mayonnaise. I was kind of thinking a little more like ham and mayo sandwich, but, you know, as long as it had mayonnaise, that was the main factor. Like, for whatever reason, mayonnaise on a sandwich. So I always get BLTs from Subway. I love BLTs, so that's what I got. No, I never break the tie. Like, I don't like to vote on any of the polls that I post, because I'm the OP. I feel like in my personal opinion, I don't think the OP should contribute in any way to the polls, because it would feel like a bias, or like I'm kind of rigging the poll in a sense. I mean, I know I can still only vote for one thing, but like for my values, for my Discord server polls, I don't think I deserve to be a tiebreaker. I mean, before I've thought about, you know, flipping a coin or like doing another little wheel spin with two choices on it instead, like, you know, the two tie choices. But someone has broken the tie multiple times in the past, and now that I have Kyler, I can just ask him to break the tie. Yeah, but yeah, no. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. If you got a problem with it, you can deal with it. But yeah, no, that's that. I feel like I was gonna say something, but I'll bring up the movie polls again later on. Like I think towards the end of stream, if anyone decides to, if more people show up. But yeah, I think it's funny Kyler gets to break a tie when he isn't even going to watch it, and I am. I mean, yes, that's also. I see where you're coming from, yes. But yeah, no, as the OP, I feel like I shouldn't be allowed to answer on my own fucking poll. Like, that doesn't feel right. It's just like, why the fuck? What's the point? But yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, in a sense, if Kyler votes for something, that still kind of controls what he can watch the next week, because he works every other weekend, and you know, we hold these things every weekend, so it's like whatever he votes for is a movie that he wouldn't be interested in watching next week. So yeah, I mean, in a sense, it does affect him. So anyways, that's enough of that. I'll get right into the game now. I am ready. Oh, well, okay, let me open that, and also let me move the prompt to my next screen, or my other screen. Excuse me. Alright. Later on that evening, actually, I totally forgot to recap, but all I really remember is Saito, you know, he's fighting, showing off sword skills. We had encounters with Amagiri, and towards the end, when everyone's, you know, there's that big battle, Saito had to drink the water of life while fighting Amagiri, who went full demon mode. And then Kazuma comes up after that, you know, just like while we're trying to like get away. Actually, I think Amagiri let us get away, but Kazuma comes in, fights us. I think he went demon form too. Amagiri stops the fight because that's his job. And now we're in Edo. So Saito is starting to experience those episodes of bloodlust. And now we get the story. Later on that evening, I patiently waited for Heisuke to wake so that we could discuss the day's events. The sun dropped into the horizon, melting into the dusk. Heisuke appeared just as darkness took over. Hey, is this Saito's route? Hold on a minute. Is this Saito's route? Wait. Am I tripping? No, that is... Okay. Okay, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Hold on. Why is it Heisuke? Sorry, we didn't miss out on much. Oh, Heisuke! I wanted to ask you something. Do you have a moment? Someone might overhear us, so do you mind if we stepped outside? Well, the thing is... Oh, okay, now this makes sense why we're talking to him. As a Fury, how much of a strain does it put on your body to stay awake during the day? You're just skonking beaten 3 bosses so far today. Very nice. Nice streak. I nodded. It seems like Saito has been working just as hard as he was before he became a Fury, but he looks like he's in a lot of pain. And well, I wanted to tell Heisuke about my interaction with Saito, but I wasn't sure how best to phrase it. It was almost if I said it aloud. It would make him sound like something less than human. How did you know? My reaction alone seemed to give Heisuke all the information he needed. A seizure? Oh, I guess, yeah, I guess that's what you would call those. I'll just turn up just the volume a little bit. What should I do? Should I tell him to drink blood? Heisuke paused and didn't give me a straight answer. Maybe it was difficult for him to say as well. However, Heisuke was the only person I trusted to advise me on how best to help Saito. Okay, yeah, they give you the answer straight out. Pretty much. What should I do? If Saito were to suffer one of those episodes, was there anything I could do? Maybe I could save Saito by letting him drink my blood? What is it? What's wrong? Is there anything else bothering you? You imagine some players would be suspicious because Heisuke is getting that info from Sanan. That is true. Sanan's not a very reliable informant. My blood? Indeed, lately I'd been feeling someone's eyes on me. Had that been Sanan? Heisuke seemed to notice my face fall because he pulled something out of his pocket and handed it to me. What is this? Oh, okay, but then they do present with this, so it's like, oh. Like, I remember when I first played, you know, this game, or at least a port of this game, I thought the medicine was the right way to go when it wasn't. Really? But how in the world did Dr. Matsumoto... I had been under the impression that Dr. Matsumoto was firmly against researching the Furies. I see. I grabbed the medicine handed to me by Heisuke, and I placed it snugly into the pocket of my kimono. I should tell him to take this medicine when he starts exhibiting symptoms, right? Okay, understood. I'll keep this as a last resort. Heisuke turned around to walk back into the building. After a few steps, he seemed to remember something, and he turned to face me again. Oh, huh? Let me drink for the hall, but... I didn't think that Heisuke had more to say. Oh, but yeah, my first drink. I'm surprised, honestly. They usually have a drinking game prompt on like almost immediately, but I feel like that's one of the longest gaps we've had since starting the story for a stream. Right. Once more, Heisuke gave me a nod and walked away. He was right. Saito had the tendency to work himself to the bone. Saito... he was different than the other warriors. The Shinsengumi and Hijikata's orders were more important to him than anything else. Of course, no one considered it to be a fault per se, but it was becoming increasingly difficult to ignore that his dedication was taking a toll on him. Saito had sacrificed his humanity to protect me, so if there was anything I could do to alleviate his pain, even just a little, I would do it. Heisuke had just mentioned that father left some documents behind in Mibu. Perhaps if I were to visit my childhood home, I could uncover even more information about the Furies. I decided to head over as soon as I could. The very next day, I ventured to the outskirts of Edo to the place I once called home. A bed of overgrown weeds covered the yard, as if no one had been here in years. If I had to hazard a guess, I've never heard that, but I don't know, maybe that is a thing. Father's study would be the best place to look for clues about the water of life. The face cam is a sloth from one of the episodes of Cardcaptor Sakura. Like, they go to the zoo for a field trip, and one of the, there's a bunch of students are assigned to study an animal. They're split into groups. Sakura's rival, his group, they observe sloths, and I love the way that they drew this sloth. So I liked it so much, I screenshotted it and I was like, this would be a great face cam. But yeah, you've heard hazard a guess plenty of times. Okay, good for you. Looks like a soy jack sloth, and that is why I saved it. Huh? Not an actual huh, just that I see a question mark and an exclamation mark. I always like to go huh. A shadow crept across the room and I froze. Oh no. Did I just stumble upon a robbery? I nervously held my breath with my back against the wall, peeking slightly around the corner to see... What the fuck? Is it father? Yeah, it did come off a little rude. I know you're not trying to come off as rude, but yeah. I get the message. A familiar voice called out from the room. Could it be? No. There was no way I could possibly mistake that voice. It was... Father? Is that you? My chest filled with warmth as I called out to him. The floor creaked as the shadow approached me with slow, measured footsteps. After he stepped into the light, I saw myself. It was him! Oh, what the fuck? Alright. What whack shit is he gonna drop on us this time? There he stood. My father, for whom I'd been searching for so long. Father! Aw. Aw. I ran up to him instinctively, hugging him tight for the first time in years. The faint smell of chemicals wafted from his clothes. Excuse me. It was the smell I knew so well. Yes. I was so overcome with feeling that tears began to well up in the corner of my eyes. Okay, yeah, she's starting to cry. I'll drink for that. This bitch is wearing perfume. Oh, I'm gonna miss Snake Eater. What the fuck? Oh. Damn, my beer just bubbled up out of nowhere. That never happens after it's just been sitting there and then, wow, what the fuck? Man. Alright. His warm, wrinkly hands reached to pat my head tenderly. Such a kind, familiar sensation. It felt like all the time we'd spent apart had vanished. Like it had all been just an illusion. Father? Where have you been this whole time? His hands stopped their gentle patting. Imagine he arrived there just after Yukimura left. His smile, however, was as kind as ever. It was a smile I knew well. His lips moved with purpose as he spoke. A certain domain. What do you mean, father? As he wanted, I told father everything about my travels to Kyoto up until the current moment. Domain expansion. Man, I was thinking that too. How I was under the watchful eye of the Shinsengumi, what I had seen in their company, how I witnessed the crushing defeat of the Battle of Toba Fushimi and our subsequent retreat to Edo. No, not at all. But I cut myself off before I could continue. Because as I was recounting my stories of Kyoto to him, I suddenly remembered all that Sen and Kazuma had told me. Ah, meds time. Alright. If I were to ask father, maybe I could get close to the truth. But I was honestly afraid of hearing it. The silence was deafening. It was father who broke it first. Whoop. His question cut to the chase. I returned his gaze. After a pause, I nodded, despite my reservations. Yes, I did. I encountered 3 men who claimed to be demons: Kazuma, Amagiri, and Shiranui. Oh, and there was a princess as well, Sen. Nani? His sudden confession rendered me speechless. This man wasn't my real father. Well, what do they put for the protagonist's adoptive father? Although he's a member of the Yukimura clan, he is not the protagonist's biological father. I wonder if they ever show who Yukimura's real parents are. Because we've never seen it in any of the adaptations, I don't remember. But yeah. Maybe it's just meant to be a mystery. His tone suddenly dropped, and a faint malice crept into it. Feeling something to be off, I looked up at him. I didn't recognize his expression. Oh no, what? No, you're on board with that too? Bruh. I know, it's always something bad coming from Bald Father. Father? What did he say? Say that again? Did father just refer to me as Kazuma's wife? I was speaking to my father, but he seemed now like an altogether different person. Had father ever been one to smile so callously? Silent Hakuoki F. Man, for real. You know, he got a little louder. I'll drink for that. Madness burned in father's eyes as he made his grand proclamation. In this moment, I was reminded of something. There was one question I desperately needed him to answer. Father, where have you been all this time? Yeah, repeat it again. The face cam is blocking a small bit of the text. Yeah, I know. When I usually put them on the left side, it does tend to happen. I'll adjust it a little bit. I'll make them a little smaller. There. Okay. Silence. A silence so thick I could hear my heartbeat. Father's lips curled into a malicious grin before he muttered under his breath. "どういたしました?" Okay, what's the domain, bro? Excuse me.
動かしていいことになる。さすがという感ね。
Gasp! A haunting chill shot down the length of my spine, and I backed away from him. This man was not my father. He may look just like him, and I wasn't sure what exactly had happened, but I knew this much. He was a changed man.
さあ、来なさい。
No, bro.
この国の新たな首都となるのだ。
Okay, he getting loud there too. I'll have to drink for that. No! I hastily pushed father aside and I sprinted for the exit. I had to escape. I didn't know what had happened to him. At the moment, I had no reason to believe he could entertain a rational conversation. I had to get back to headquarters. Just then,
こんなところにいたのか。聞き分けのないことだな。
how? He should have been far behind me, deeper in the house. How in the world could he have just appeared? Demon powers, baby. Oh no. Bro. Already? The fuck? Aren't we still in chapter 1 of this section? Father's eyes flashed a brilliant shade of gold. What in the world was going on? Bald! Oh man. Something sharp emerged from Father's forehead. It was the same inhuman horns that I had seen emerge from Amagiri's forehead. I know, I love the bald cut-in. How? I was stunned at what I was seeing. Unworldly was the only word I could conjure. I was struck silent. Yeah, I don't know, he's getting loud tonight. Oh, drink right there too.
本来の姿になることができるほど人に近づいてしまっているのだ。落ち水が私の体に流れる命に活力を与えてくれた。
Yeah, okay, well, that's another louder line.
この美しい
Drink that too.
姿は
Yeah, dashing. Water of life? Don't tell me you. If my ears weren't playing tricks on me, then Father truly drank the water of life of his own accord. But wasn't he already a demon?
そして風間様と共に新たな身の楽園を作り出そう。
Father, who by this point barely resembled himself, let alone a human, snatched my wrist. No! I tried to shake him off, but he was much too strong. Somebody, please! Anybody! Please help me! He just drank it like an energy drink. Man. Me with my monsters. Oh, hey, hold on. Shinsengumi saving us in the nick of time not to drink. Hold on. Technically, that could also be, Saito turns out to have been lurking unseen in the shadows. I'll count that, too. Drink again. That voice! I threw myself to the ground. I heard the chilling sound of flesh being split open by the cold hiss of steel. Mrs. President, get down! Father's eyes widened angrily, and he slowly turned around to see his attacker. Before him stood... Saito! Why are you here? Saito stared back at me sternly before turning to face my father. But his tone stung, and without question, I stepped back as he told me to. Would he be alright? Saito possessed the strength and ability of a fury, but this battle was taking place during the day. Father let out a sigh before clutching what sounded like metal within his pocket. Excuse me. Then a silver twinkle glimmered in his hand. It was a handful of knives. Oh, that's right. So he likes to do the Dio treatment. Father held them out with both hands, then shouted maniacally. Father shifted his feet into a fighting stance before whipping 8 knives towards Saito. Saito deflected each one with the side of his sword. Then, he rushed forward and brought his cold blade down onto my father. Both shoulders spewed ribbons of crimson blood that splattered across the ground. It was so gruesome I couldn't watch. He may have become unrecognizable to me, but he was still the father who raised me. He was injured, but he was now a fury. His wounds began to close up, and soon were gone completely. Just as Saito had said, no matter what power his father had gained, he had no background in swordsmanship, which meant that his newfound strength could only take him so far. Father, however, gave no indication that he was willing to relent so soon. Father chuckled despicably, as if drunk from his own power, and then he hurled more knives at Saito. Once again, Saito parried the knives. Just then, one in particular... Well, of course, one always gets to... or gets past. Oh wait, no, it deflected on him, okay. Bounced off of the edge of Saito's sword and ricocheted to pierce my father's chest. Damn! Crimson blood splattered over Saito's clothing. Being showered in blood made Saito's face scrunch in pain. Suddenly, Saito's movements became strained, as if he were out of breath, and he broke out in a cold sweat. Oh no! Father's lips curled in a vicious smile. Chowder's so cute. He's been resting here at my feet. He's so calm. He was so good today. He never bit me at all today. That's a first. I watched as Saito winced, then quickly covered his nose with the sleeve of his kimono. There was no mistake. It was... Oh yeah, that's definitely a loud drink. I know, yeah, no, it's cause like... What... He gets all excited when he comes back from being outside, so then like, he'll bite, you know, this is like way of playing rough, but it is a bit much. Like, I know he's still a baby, he's still teething, but goddamn, man, this fucking dog. I know it sounds ridiculous when it's just like, oh, he didn't bite me for once. Father let out another booming laugh as he drove a knife into his own arm. Oh. Dang, yeah, he's really being some Dio vibes. Yeah, honestly, Kyler and I were thinking of maybe looking into getting a trainer for him, but you know, just like an idea floating around the air. We're considering. But like not seriously considering. I don't know. It's an idea. Fresh blood began to ooze from the stab wound. Like, thankfully, Chowder doesn't bite to the point where, like, I'm bleeding or anything. The most it does is, like, you know, just slight punctures, but it's, like, not like, serious bleeding. Just, like, you know, kind of like when you get, like, a scratch or something. Like, maybe you say a cat scratches you. It's kind of like that. It does still hurt, though. Although he had sustained no injuries, Saito's face warped in agony. Succulent. A succulent human meal? With each heavy breath, Saito stepped backwards, trying to put some distance between them. However, the scent of blood and the wet feeling of it on his skin had already done their work. He was still holding his sword up, but the tip of it had begun to waver. Ooh. Oh, damn, he's teleporting! His movements were dull. He couldn't subdue Father like this. Excuse me. Ruh-roh. Father smirked with glee, glancing at Saito to aim another knife before throwing it. A silver lining came from the fact that Saito's wounds healed almost immediately. Saito winced as thick, viscous streams of blood flowed from everywhere on his body. Still, Saito dug his heels into the ground and pointed his blade at my father. Battling under direct sunlight was terribly painful for Saito. How on earth did he find the inner strength to fight so desperately? No! So, what would become of Saito? If what Father said was true, was Saito destined to become a wretched monster that feeds on the weak and the helpless? He wished for chaos! Father drew another knife from his sleeve pocket. I believed in Saito. I believe. While you were busy going bald, I studied the blade. Let's see. Yeah, let's see what happens if we choose, believe. Believe it. If I were to act rashly, it would only slow him down. For now, I could only have faith in him. Then, a sudden visitor chimed in. What do you mean? Is that Amagiri? From the distance came a voice that startled Father, freezing him in place. I knew this voice. It was a fucking chorus. Hold on. Did I choose the right thing though? Let me check. Let me check. Yeah, okay, I'm right. Okay, yeah, you know, this is Amagiri interrupting a fight. Drink. I know, I was there. No. Amagiri ordered him sharply, then glanced over at Saito, who was still panting heavily. But Mom, I don't want to go home. I know, right? Father gazed at Amagiri as if he wanted nothing more than to argue, but he had no retort. Oh, eventually Amagiri nodded and the two of them vanished like thin smoke into the mist. Saito let out a heavy sigh of relief and sheathed his sword. Saito, are you alright? Oh, Saito's cold tone made me cower. Stone Cold Saito back at it again. I apologize for causing you trouble. Well, at first I was unsure how best to tell Saito, but I came here searching for clues on how to suppress the side effects that come with the Fury transformation. No! It's just, you looked like you'd been in so much pain, Saito, and I wanted to help. Oh, yeah. Saito did not seem to have expected this response from me. Wow, okay, yeah, that took a while. Bruh. But just now, you looked like you were in pain when Father's blood sprayed on you earlier. It has everything to do with me. I mean, I'm the reason you became a Fury in the first place. I unconsciously tapped my kodachi tied to my hip. As we were leaving Osaka, Saito had purposefully handed my kodachi back to me. He said that as long as I wore this, he would no longer treat me as a mere guest. But now, all Saito could bear to do around me was avoid my gaze. Oh! I wanted to get one last look at my childhood home, but afraid to cause even more trouble, I rushed to follow behind Saito, who'd already begun to walk away. Just then... Saito? I rushed to him, circling around to try and get a look at his face. You liar! Bruh. No! All of the color in Saito's face began to drain. He looked the furthest thing from fine. Oh, hold on, it's a bloodlust drink. Sweat dripped from his entire body, and his pupils dilated twice their size. He must need... You need blood, don't you? Are you having an episode right now? Saito refused to answer. Girl, you can tell just by looking at him! He clutched his chest, an expression of agony I'd never seen on him, twisting his features. If we remained out in the open, there is no telling who may stumble upon us. Hurriedly, I grabbed Saito's arm and led him into the refuge of the house. What should I do? We'll give him blood, duh! Of course! Well, just in case, I always like to say whenever we're presented with a choice. Excuse me, that's give him blood. Heisuke suggested the best way to cope with the symptoms was by drinking human blood. There was no time to hesitate. I drew my kodachi, sliding the cold edge of the metal across the tip of my finger. Slowly, thick crimson droplets began to slide down the length of my finger. I offered it to Saito. Saito, please drink my blood. Saito stared at me intently, as if trying to decipher my intentions. Don't worry about this cut. I'm a demon. It'll heal in no time. Don't worry, drink. If you don't drink my blood, then you're only going to feel worse. Please don't think of me. Please. I watched Saito's mind work as I urged him to drink, and finally, he grabbed a hold of my hand. He hesitantly put his lips against the open cut and began to drink. His throat bobbed up and down as he swallowed, and then his breathing calmed. Without a sound, he pulled away. See? You look far better. I'm so glad. Saito looked away awkwardly. No, it's already sealed back up. I suppose having these powers comes in handy from time to time. Also, I'm surprised they didn't show a CG for that, because that usually happens. Huh. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. There was a pause, and he stared my way as if he had something to say. He delivered his order curtly before stepping out. I knew that he couldn't help himself, but drinking human blood would put anyone off. Oh, I don't know. Human blood do taste kind of good though. Of course, there was no better way to treat those awful symptoms, so I couldn't blame him at all. Saito and I safely returned to the compound. Oh, he's off. He's weirdly loud. I'll drink for that. Oh, Shimoda welcomed us back warmly, but I wasn't sure how to answer his question. Kondo? Really? In the meeting room, Kondo, Hijikata, and the rest of the Shinsengumi captains had already gathered.
甲府城で敵を迎え撃つこととなった。どし説明してくれ。
俺たちが甲府に出向く目的は新政府軍に慶喜の教授の意思を伝える。奴らに立てつける連中から甲府を守るって
ことだ。だが真の目的は甲府城にて敵を迎え撃つことにある。
Okay, you know what? I feel like that line was slightly louder. Like Kondo seems just slightly loud, but I feel like that one stuck out a little more. I'm drinking there.
もし今回の任務が成功したら、我々に甲府城をなさずそうだぞ。これは気合を入れて臨まねばならな。そう。今日は他にも諸君らに伝えない。
Oh, this is where he's all like, I'm a daimyo now. Kondo crossed his arms, gazing around the room in proud awe at each of his men. It was clear that he was building anticipation. Kondo tended to act like an excited little boy at times. Oh, that's cute. Kondo chuckled at his own remark before clearing his throat to resume his more official tone.
今回の任務にあたって俺は若年寄りという身分をいただけることになった。
Yeah.
若年寄りといえば大名だぞ、大名。さらには大久保剛という新しい名前まで頂戴した。どうだ、勇ましいだろう。
Oh, woo! Kondo blushed bright red with glee. I had never seen him so enthusiastic before, but none of the other captains, Nagakura especially, seemed to share his enthusiasm. Oh! Surprisingly, all of them looked like they'd swallowed something bitter.
というわけで、早急に甲府行きの支度を進めてもらいたい。我々は幕府の方々にどう評価されるかは諸君らの働きにかかっているからな。期待しているぞ。それでは本日は解散。
As soon as the assembly finished, Kondo walked with a spring in his step, whistling as he exited the room. Kondo sure was happy to have been appointed as a daimyo. I don't think I've ever seen Kondo that happy before.
小さな道場にした働きを認められ大名に取りかけられた浮かれはする。
If we win this battle, Kondo mentioned that we could keep Kofu Castle. If that were to happen, then it would mean you and the other captains would start working within the castle, right? His own Mojo Dojo Casa house. It was hard to imagine for a person like me, who had been raised as a townsperson, but Saito seemed oddly down. He's a killing machine. After saying that, Saito's eyes narrowed, dark like a starless night sky. Come to think of it, I wondered how Saito came to join the Shinsengumi. I had been working with him for so long, and I realized I barely knew anything about him. But I doubted he would answer, even if I were to try asking. Oh, excuse me. Neither Nagakura nor Haruda seemed excited by Kondo's news. Saito, I noticed, seemed fixed on the two of them as they ranted, wearing his usual expressionless gaze. War was about to erupt. I prayed that everyone would return safely. Chapter 2. Springtime brought with it the bloom of new life. The Shinsengumi renamed themselves the Koyo Regulatory Company and departed from Edo. Lame! Lame name. Sandan and Heisuke decided to stay behind in Edo, along with what remained of the Fury Corps. My first assumption was that I would remain behind with them, but for some reason, Hijikata ordered me to follow the Koyo Regulatory Company. Saito was assigned to watch over me, making this experience altogether not much different than how things had been while we were in Edo. There was one rather large change, however. Oh, they did that off screen. Everyone gets their clothes.
銃を持った奴らとの戦いにはこっちの方が都合がいいってことだろう。聞くのには苦労したけどな。特にこのボタンってやつの使い道が最初はさっぱりわからなかった。
Of course, he'd still be showing off his man titties. After embarking from Edo, many of the men were given new Western-style clothes to wear. Apparently, they felt quite different from Japanese-style clothing, and no one seemed quite used to them yet. Saito, how does it feel? They're quite tight. Are they hard to move in? Whoa, and he cut his hair. Whoa. These clothes have buttons instead of sashes to fasten things together. This was my first opportunity to see Saito wear his Western uniform. I had to admit, he looked quite handsome, huh? Although I was a little disappointed he'd cut off a good deal of his hair. Did he not like his new outfit? Huh? Oh, there. I'll drink. Saito? I think you forgot to fasten those last two. What do you mean? They're all buttoned up. Oh, up there. But I think those two holes are there so that you can slip those last two buttons in. I think that you've missed a couple. Hearing this, Saito quietly dropped his eyes to peek at the aforementioned buttons on his new coat. He stared blankly at them for a while. I'm so sorry. If it doesn't bother you, then don't worry about it. It's fine either way. Don't worry, drink. It seemed like Saito had his fair share of trouble putting these new clothes on. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen Kondo around recently. Did he not join us? Hino? Hold on, I think, didn't I have an alcohol drink? Involved. I wouldn't count them mentioning it. He has a wife and daughter? What? Did they ever mention his wife and daughter? What the fuck? Nagakura's sour rant darkened the mood, especially for some of the new members. Years, right? That's crazy. Like, I couldn't imagine being in that family's shoes. I snuck a glance over at Saito, who was walking quietly beside me. Although he wouldn't have been one to express much, I noticed his brows locked in a furrow, like he was thinking hard about something. Eventually, Hijikata, who had been leading the convoy, turned to ask me a question. I'm fine, thank you.
悪いな。いきなり俺たちを同窓させることになっちまって。
Oh, I don't mind at all. But I wondered, is it really alright for me to be marching out here with you all? I'm just a little worried that I might be a distraction on the battlefield. His mouth twisted like he'd eaten something sour. After taking a moment to think over how to word things, hand on his chin,
できれば江戸で留守番させてやりたかったんだ。今のお前を一人で同時に置いておくのは危険すぎる。戦場まで連れてきたこと
he does care. Dangerous? Then Saito chimed in. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, Sanan stayed behind? Oh shit, yeah, I wouldn't be feeling safe around Sanan either. Not Saito. Of course I feel safe around Saito. Yeah, no shit, Hijikata.
余裕をなくしてしまってるというか。ラスの本性をむき出しにすることが増えてしまった。
I was unsure of what to say. I'd also had some bizarre interactions with Sanan lately.
お前を同時に置き去りにしといて、取り返しのつかない事態になっちまった。
Oh, excuse me.
いろいろ面倒なことを今一緒についてきてもらうことにした。すまねえな、付き合わせちまって。
At least he's honest. Oh, please, don't worry about me. Damn, Yukimoto dropping all these don't worries tonight. Yeah, drink for that. At first, I'd been confused by Hijikata's sudden order, especially because I was no warrior, but it appeared as though he had a lot to think about.
一つお知らせしたいと。
なんだ再々。
新品としたさ、今回の甲府での戦について多大な疑問を抱いているそうです。特に近藤局長の行動について。
Hijikata gave a wry smile.
疑問つうより不満だろう。
Everyone's noticed it.
これぐらい戦だってのに、局長が宿に至って酒が下ってたんじゃ、あいつらが現れるのはたまらないだろう。普通に募集をかけたところで、大使が集まってくる。酒やら救急の目の前にちらつかせて、新聞をかもと。
Of course. Alcohol. That's awful. I'd never been well informed about the recruiting methods, but were men who were easily swayed by the promise of alcohol and money the kind of men our leaders expected to fight tooth and nail for the Shinsengumi?
率直にお聞きします。副長は今回の戦、勝てるとお思いですか？
城にこもって戦えば、まず決心。
という野戦になった場合、
Hold on.
Seriously? Seriously?
There we go. I don't know why when I'm on silent it won't play me any videos, like at least on my photos saved, but whatever. Seriously, drink.
野戦になりゃ勝つのは相当難しくなる。今回の戦にあって幕府の偉いさんから武器や太鼓を預かってきたのは薩長が使ってやがる新型の武器にはどうして歯が立たない。
では今回の負け戦になるな。
そうならないよう努力はするさ。なるべく負け戦の経験してほしい。とはいえ、一
Hijikata turned his somber eyes up to the sky. Then, after a deep sigh, he faced Saito and me. Everything will be daijoubu, okay? Yes, you know it. Damn. But it do be like that. This was the first time I had ever heard Hijikata sound so defeated when it came to war. On top of this, it was heartbreaking to hear how he couldn't even be honest with the men he'd fought with for so many years. Saito gazed back at Hijikata stoically.
お気持ちを察しします。相手が憎まれないはずです。
それが俺の役割だからな。
Later, we were encamped just off the trail, and I found myself unable to sleep. Hijikata's hopeless confession wouldn't stop playing in my head. From the corner of my eye, I noticed Saito quietly exit the encampment. Was something wrong? Did he have business to attend to? Although it might have been better for me to leave him be. I was concerned that it had something to do with his health or condition, so I went to follow him. Oh? Cock blocker. He's gonna take a shit and then Yukimura's gonna watch. I'm worried about Saito. I'm going to make sure he's okay. Yeah, just let him take a shit. If that's the case, I'll come right back. Do either of you mind keeping watch for me? With that, I ran after Saito. Not even giving them the chance to answer. There you go. Where did he go? Ah, there he was. Saito stood alone in the middle of a clearing, silently staring towards the night sky. The stars glowed intensely, as if they were all on course to rain down upon him, and he stood taking them in. He was as expressionless as ever, but he looked so lonely somehow. Just then... Ah! I accidentally brushed a branch, rustling the underbrush. Bruh! Stealth 0. Saito's sharp voice cracked the silence. Fucking Yukimura, man. Oh my goodness. He must have thought I was an enemy soldier spying on him. His tone was biting, and I could feel his murderous aura from where I was hiding. But wait, it's me! At once, I leapt from behind the shrub. When Saito realized it was me, his expression became sullen. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It's just that I had a lot on my mind and I couldn't fall asleep. It's a me, Yukimura. And then I saw you leaving the camp, so I followed. Saito's expression didn't change whatsoever, looking down at me as I explained myself. Eventually, he just turned his gaze back up to the night sky. Why did you come out here? Did you need some fresh air? Saito didn't respond. Instead, he continued to stare into the sky, and his eyes narrowed as if the stars were shining too brightly. Surely Saito was consumed by his own thoughts. I feel a little guilty for interrupting this moment of solace, but... Excuse me. What do you think, Saito? But about what Hijikata said earlier. Well, if things go the way Hijikata predicted, then we might end up losing this time around, right?
しかも今回共に親友に対してどれも10年の間に
Oh, man. But then, why don't they find swordsmen?
人を殺めた何なんとがめをなし市中往来していると思うか道場剣術どれほどうまく実戦で何の役に立った戦いにもよらないような人を切ることができるかどうか
Saito was right. No matter how many inexperienced men we recruited, they wouldn't bolster our ranks. Having both Hijikata and Saito describe in great detail just how dire our situation was made me feel quite depressed. Doesn't it scare you, Saito? Going into a battle you have a high chance of losing? You might die. I realized how futile this question might have sounded, especially to someone like Saito who had faced down death numerous times. And now, he seemed to be accepting, without flinching, the fact that the upcoming battle might be a lost cause. It was a bravery that I could not fathom. His answer was indifferent as usual, but he added something that I was not expecting. What you believe in? His words were so obscure that I had a hard time understanding what he meant. After a calm pause, Saito turned to me, and a question suddenly passed his lips. Other name? Other name? You mean like samurai? Saito shut his eyes and slowly shook his head. What? What the fuck is he? Another way of referring to a warrior. Comes from the way warriors wear their swords at their left hip. Oh, right. He's gonna explain that. Okay, that's definitely a soliloquy about swords. Finally! Finally, I can use that prompt and drink that. Huh? But you're... Oh, there we go, a hot drink. Saito wore his sword on the right side, and he always drew with his left hand. Come to think of it, I'd never seen anyone who did aside from him. Yeah, there we go, the explanation. Ha! You proved them wrong. Saito's words might have sounded indifferent, but they held a gravity which expressed just how much this question had weighed on him. You used to? Does that mean you found an answer? Saito fell silent. Without another word, he drew his sword. The cold, shimmering moonlight reflected off of the blade. Saito's eyes reflected on the bright blade held a deep darkness. A chill ran down the length of my spine. Damn, bro. Stone Cold Saito. What? Hatamoto was one of the elites in our society. Holy shit. To kill one of them in a duel would have been a serious offense.
俺が正しいその相手はだが勝ったはずの俺は罪の
Bro.
武士の足をし武士というのはもともと人を切るのが役目だったはず実際に罪人と認められるここは矛盾した話があるかその頃そう考えていたんだ
The weight that Saito put behind each utterance of samurai was so heavy and showed just how much the concept meant to him. However, there weren't many who would share his values in this world. Despite having unparalleled talent, no one would acknowledge it. This constant rejection led him to focus almost obsessively on the concepts of samurai and strength that he defined for himself. My heart clenched at the thought of the hardship he'd endured.
だが新選組の皆を勝つために目の前の相手を殺して己が生き残るために刀を振るそれは俺の思い描く真実だよく見ていた
The warrior spirit? Yeah, at least once. I do remember drinking for that prompt. Not in this route, though. I'm pretty sure it was a different route. Hearing Saito's story made me finally realize those who gave him strength, those who understood the anguish hidden deep in him, were none other than the Shinsengumi men. Amongst, I'll count that as an among drink. Stone Cold! Man. Saito rotated the grip of his sword and stared at his reflection on the blade. Taking a closer look at his sword, I realized that it was quite thinner than what the other men had. Oh. Excuse me. He must have sharpened his blade over and over, only replacing it when it had worn down to nothing. Surely this cycle must have repeated countless times. These words made me flinch. Protecting me was only one of the reasons why Saito had drunk the water of life. Perhaps more than that, he had not wanted what he believed in, this one talent he had spent his life sharpening, to be repudiated. This was the essence of what Saito put his faith in. Saito bit his lip and returned his sword to its scabbard. To him, wielding a sword was the same as living, but the age of the blade was coming to an end. Beyond facing death, or accepting the burden of becoming a fury. Hey, Senessus, what's up? How we doing today? We're doing a drinking game, so if you'd like to take part with an alcoholic beverage or a non-alcoholic beverage, I'll let you know when to drink. Saito's very reason for living was disappearing. This must be the reason why he looked so terribly anxious. What could I possibly say to him? Oh, what am I gonna say? Let's see. Oh, save file 69. God, that's a lot of save files. That's not the case. I think you have to challenge him. You say it's vanishing, but I don't think that's the case. Saito quietly stared back at me as I spoke. At this point, gotta say when we're not doing a drinking game. I know. But like, I do like to keep my drinking days from Friday to Monday. Yeah, unless it's a special occasion, but I know. It does seem like a lot. Inoue told me, a true warrior would never turn his back on his promises, nor would he ever make a woman cry. Yes, I will drink water, thank you. Regardless of the era we live in, warriors who uphold the values of honesty, kindness, and strength will always be needed. Or do you believe that the values you put your faith in are destined to vanish when this era ends? Saito had no response, and he quietly shook his head. Those doubts still seemed to linger within him. His voice was barely audible. However, he did not complete his thought, and once more he glared at the empty nothingness above us. His tone was colder than usual. Maybe I was the wrong person to approach Saito about this kind of issue. Oh, that was the wrong one, huh? I wanted, since it is just a Saito only route, I wanted to see if we could tell by itself, but yeah, it's maybe you're right. I'll drink for wrong choice. Damn. Maybe you're right. Maybe a time will come when warriors are no longer needed in this world. Yeah, right. Even Hijikata admitted that the sheer range and power of a rifle put us at a huge disadvantage against the Satsuma and Choshu. My response caused Saito to look away, seeming even more despondent than before. But even if a time comes when warriors and swords are no longer needed, that doesn't mean that you won't be needed, Saito. His sour tone made me flinch a little, but I slowly put my feelings into words. You just said, Saito, that your sword can only kill, that it reeks of blood. But I disagree. Your sword can also save lives. You've saved me countless times, during the Battle of Toba Fushimi, and for my father back in Edo. If you hadn't been there, I would have died. At the end of the day, I spoke from a position of privilege and safety. I was under constant protection. All the same, I hoped my words would move something in him. Which is why I'm so very grateful to you, Saito. I appreciate what you've done for me. No matter what happens in the world, even if it decides that it no longer has any need for warriors, I will always need you. I owe you my life. Saito fixed an unreadable stare onto me. Once more, he turned away from me, staring into the darkness in contemplation. Maybe what I said was out of line, just as my anxiety began to flare. Oh, there we go. I was wondering when we were gonna see a CG. Ah! I'll drink when we see the full CG though. Saito stroked his slender fingers down the side of my cheek. His eyes stared into mine, still and dark like the night sky. Is something wrong, Saito? This gesture startled me, and I nervously asked him why, but... Or fuck it, I'll drink here, but yeah, the CG will zoom out. It's just so we can look at his beautiful eyes. He remained silent. He simply looked deep into my eyes, as if searching for something. Finally, his lips parted and he whispered. What? Sloth staring at Saito. Oh, yeah, huh? Huh? Oh, huh, drink. This taste is the taste of a truth teller. Hijacker Yukimura!
見つけられるのではない。
His voice was as quiet as always, but in his eyes I could see a faint trace of relief. Seeing him relax made my heart feel warm. Then let's have faith in the Shinsengumi. They're the ones who recognized your strength when nobody else would. What if this is the whole CG? But it showed his hand earlier and Yukimoto's like the back of her head or whatever. There's no way this is the full CG. Even if one day you can no longer wield your sword, I am sure none of them would even think of abandoning you. Saito's eyes shot wide open in surprise. The corners of his mouth relaxed, then curled up into a rare smile. Whoa, hold on. What did they put as my heart in the terminology? One's innermost thoughts, what one keeps hidden deep in their heart, one's true self. No, I never would have known that. Why is that even in the terminology? What the fuck? What? My reaction to that being in the terminology, what? The fuck? I wasn't sure what Saito was murmuring.
感謝する。今まで見えなかった何かおぼろげのような見えてきた。
Gratitude sounded strange coming from him, but there was no question that it was genuine. After a moment, Saito's hand slipped away from my cheek. Oh shit, I guess that was the whole CG, what the fuck? I swear they showed more of that, what the... There was more to that picture, what the fuck? It was true. After all, the Supreme Commander himself had abandoned his troops at the first sign of trouble. And moreover, even the Tokugawa affiliate daimyo and the hereditary daimyo turned their backs on the shogunate.
だが鳥羽は死ぬくさ新八は死ぬことを覚悟して切り込み込みに志願した今度こそ片方の残弾を戦線に復帰した土方さん敗北して大使に非難を受けることを覚悟幕府のために戦おうとしている今度こそ土方さんは武家の生まれではない
it's not really warrior spirit. Whatever. Not a prompt. There we go, now we get the moon. His tone was not detached as it usually was. I couldn't say for sure, but it seemed as though Saito was trying to put his feelings into words in order to make them concrete. For as long as I'd known him, I'd seen Saito as serious and single-minded, the sort of man who was steadfast in his convictions and purpose. But perhaps that wasn't all there was to him. You're right. The insects chirped and hummed from the trees as we made our way back to camp. We were nearly there when... Amagiri! Oh, okay, this... Yeah, that would happen. So, I finished my beer, and we're getting closer to 2-hour runtime, so I'm just gonna use my water for the rest of the drinking and prompts. But of course, if you want to grab more alcohol, feel free. So I'll drink here for a bloodlust episode. Saito stopped suddenly, his face twisted with pain. Saito? What's wrong? I ran to him as he leaned heavily against a nearby tree, his fingers digging into the bark. His teeth ground aggressively, and his breath was strangled. He broke out in a cold sweat. Could it be? Is it blood? Do you want blood? Oh gee, what do I do? I wonder. Yeah, we give him blood, of course. Saito! Please, drink my blood. Yeah, we're good. However, Saito's face warped in pain, and his forehead was covered in thick beads of sweat. That made it even more clear that he was craving blood. Please, I'll be fine. There was no point in arguing. I drew my sword and was about to slide the cold edge against my finger. Give it to me! No! If you don't, you'll... I was sure he meant to take the sword away from me. Dang, he knows what he wants. He knows he wants a certain amount. That wasn't what I had expected to hear. He took hold of my kodachi and staggered closer. I could hear his breath rattling in his chest. The blade pressed against my ear. He must have wanted to cut where it would barely be visible. I felt a spark of pain as it broke the skin, and then his face moved so close to mine. Oh, whoa, wow, another CG in the same scene. I could feel his ragged breath on my skin. His lips wrapped around the wound. I shivered as his breath grazed over my earlobe. Saito stopped and pulled away. Here, maybe they won't zoom out, so just in case, I'll drink for the CG anyways. His voice was barely above a whisper, but it sounded loud in my ear. I'm fine. It just tickled a little bit. He seemed relieved to hear that, and I felt his tongue touch my ear once again. He softly lapped up the drops of blood welling up on my earlobe. Dang, we went so long without a single grammar error, and then here we go. Maybe they were like really like locked in for Saito's route. Not quite. There's still errors here and there, but yeah, I mean, usually we'd have an error like within the first 5 minutes or whatever, but okay. No period. Drink there. As he drank, Saito's breathing eased, and his shaking began to subside. After some time, he slowly stepped back. Wow, I'm just surprised at the lack of zoom outs on the CGs too for tonight. Wow. His breathing had stabilized, but his words were now tinged with guilt. Don't worry about it. This will heal up in no time. Man, the majority of our drinks tonight was Don't Worries from Yukimura, so that's another drink. Yukimura's blood be flowing, but we ain't got no period. Oh. It's a sick bar right there. His lips curled in a slight, self-deprecating smile. No, it's not like that. It's my fault you became a Fury in the first place. Wonder what the Japanese equivalent of cart before the horse is. I'm not sure. Well, untranslated, we just heard it. He stood there silently for a moment, his back to me. I nodded back to Saito, and we returned to our camp. The next day, our march continued on. Finally, we arrived in Kofu. However, you know what? I'll take that as a 2 Nagakura drink. He was a little bit louder there. Yikes. Bruh. Everyone stood, stunned into silence. As a creeping dread got the better of me, I looked over at Saito to whisper to him. Saito? What does that mean for us? You'd probably leave too if you found out the castle were gonna hold out and was already captured. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's already a pretty much doomed fight anyways on their end. So yeah, I get it too. Will we try to take back the castle? Saito's voice barely hovered above a murmur so that the other warriors wouldn't overhear him.
城を攻め少なくなって相手に3倍兵力確実勝利を目指す10倍兵力必要しかも双方の距離が感覚にととしんだササの上新型兵器の敵を相手にせずササの陣地が必要
Then, when I turned to look at the men in discussion, each captain had their gaze fixed on Kondo to await his feedback. It's just gaze, bro. All right, that's a spelling error drink. Kondo, however, uttered a surprising declaration.
撤退はしない。要所に前進し、敵の出方を待つ。
なんだって。
神から殺金をいただいて出陣したのだ。
Okami? The wolf?
我々を信頼してくださった幕臣の方々が顔向け的に。
Hey, you know what? You got loud there. I'll drink for that too.
諸君らは武士ではないのか。今こそ慶喜公に我々の忠義を示す。
And another loud word. Whoa! The crowd of freshly recruited soldiers roared in unison as Kondo roused their spirits. Yeah, why didn't they play this again? The whole... Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, man. Oh, you know what? He got loud too. I'll take 2 drinks because it's Nagakura.
君は勝てる勝負しかしないつもりかね。その腰に刺しているものは一体何だ。俺は戦うのが怖いわけじゃねえよ。
Damn. Okay. Hold on. I ran out of water. Let me pour some more. It's always good to hydrate. Yeah, okay. So I'll take 2 drinks because that's Nagakura loud. Two more! Oh, loud. The tension thickened, and I was worried the situation would escalate into violence when Hijikata cut in. Calm down, drink too, man. Nagakura finally relaxed his clenched fists. Afterwards, Hijikata departed swiftly for Edo. Thankfully, the Imperial forces made no attempt to attack us, instead keeping themselves safely fortified within the walls of Kofu Castle. If battle were to ensue, then I was sure that we would all be massacred before reinforcements could arrive. Although our men were intently patrolling the surrounding areas of our camp, We had just above 100 warriors in our ranks, which wasn't enough to cover the entire perimeter. Then I noticed Saito. Are you alright, Saito? You look pale. Are you sure about that? Excuse me. So he muttered. So he muttered. But he looked on the verge of collapse. Well, you don't look fine. Why don't you rest for a little while? Well, I suppose. The afternoon sun was blazing high in the sky. Normally, even walking under the sun would have been overwhelming to Saito. However, if war were to break out, the hairs on my arms stood at the thought. Just then, come on, Yukimura, you jinxed it! Oh, a loud drink.
なんだ俺たちの正体に気づきやがった数はどれくらいいる12分ですおそらく石膏部隊と思われますこっちに向かってきやがる
The Coneheads attack.
しょうがねえ応戦するか
Nagakura grabbed his sword, and Harada fetched his spear, both of them readying themselves into an offensive stance. Ruh-roh, Raggy! The Imperial soldiers drew their swords in return, and they sprinted towards us, but... Damn, that's a lot of footsteps. Is it just gonna loop? That sound it? Alright. Oh, that is a loud Nagakura drink. Or two loud Nagakura drinks. With one quick movement, Nagakura swung his sword into the mass of incoming soldiers, spilling thick blood on the dirt. Nagakura aimed the tip of his blade to the opening in his foe's armor, driving it deep. Without another word, the soldier fell limply to the ground. Just as Nagakura barked out a confident laugh, the Imperial soldier, who we had presumed to be dead on the ground, laughed eerily. They're Furies! He leapt up high above Nagakura. Oh wait, I remember this happening, yeah, from the other routes. The soldier brought his sword down with massive force. Or, you know, I do remember this from Okita's route for sure. As he parried the blow, Nagakura yelled out in disbelief. Oh, loud Nagakura again, 2 drinks. The eyes! Oh, they're not hentai protags anymore! Just then, the eyes of the enemy soldier flashed a bright shade of crimson. Oh, dang. I mean, it kind of, the way they painted it looks more like a CG. I'll technically count that as a CG. I don't know, like, it looks like a painting. One after the other, each of the scout troops had their eyes and hair turn red and white. Oh, a white drink as well. Wrong button, my bad. Oh, that's a loud drink. I'll drink there too. Despite their best efforts, our new warriors were all powerless against the Furies, lacking the know-how and skill set necessary to tackle these beasts. They were simply no match. The Furies slaughtered all of our men without any remorse. These Furies came out of nowhere. How could they be here? No, it couldn't be. Oh, Bald Father!
ずっと待っていた。私の可愛い子たちが確実のもと力を存分に発揮してくれる日よ。
My worst fears were realized as father appeared from behind a tall tree. Yeah, no, it's he said kawaii, cause let's see. Yeah, cause when you say kawaii so, it's kind of like my poor, like oh poor thing. So he's kind of I think the way he used it is a way, like kind of a demeaning way for, like, you know, his weak soldiers, because they're not powerful, like, you know, like the average demon. They're just furies. Father seemed to be in a trance as he gazed at each fury fully active under the light of the sun. His eyes gleamed with mad glee. Amagiri, who had been standing beside him, however, had a bitter expression. Damn, I don't I don't know, like, I've been watching these Caillou YouTube poops, like, they're so deranged. I forgot the name of the user, but I think it's like Rinse Cycle or something. But Vinny's been did another video where he watches YouTube poops, and he saw at least 2 of those YouTube poops, but like they're deranged because it's like Caillou becomes like excuse me, like he becomes like this like demon from hell or whatever, like with like a mouth, like a circle mouth with like sharp teeth all around, just kind of like takes over his face. In one of them, he just totally cannibalizes his mom. Like the way it's edited, it just feels like you're watching a psychotic episode, or like you're experiencing one. but yeah, I don't know, all these Caillou YouTube poops, and just, you know, Kodo being bald, it's like I'm just like thinking damn bro, what if this is Caillou growing up? Yeah, no, they're deranged. They're absolutely deranged YouTube poops. The same YouTube, like the Dr. Phil YouTube poop that I put in my chambers, that's the same guy who did these Caillou YouTube poops. I just kind of, I dipped my toes in the rabbit hole. but yeah, it's kind of fucked. The editing though, it's just amazing, like how like there's just so much effort put into it. Amagiri glared down at my father as if he were a piece of filth under his shoe. He sighed, closing his eyes in resignation. You'll curse your eyes with a video or 2 after the stream. Yeah, have fun with it. Both Nagakura and Harada were panting heavily. Sweat glistened all over their bodies as they continued to slice and weave through the massive furies. However, instead of dying, each fury simply rose back up, wounds healing as fast as they were inflicted. The furies approached us menacingly, licking their lips as they stared us down. Yeah, alright, go for the harder head. Cut their heads off. One of the furies made an attempt to grab my arm. Ah! Saito quickly drew his sword, swinging without a second thought at the incoming fury. Much to our dismay, however. The Fury's wound sealed itself, and he stood up as if nothing had happened.
このままじゃキリがねえな。じわじわ体力を削られて全滅するのを待つだけだ。とはいえ、全滅ってのは響きがいいような。てことで最後、事前の手はず通りよろしく頼むぜ。
逃げるんだよ! Imagine. What you discussed?
ユキ、あんたも俺と共に来い。もしもし、二人で説明。
Oh, yeah, yeah, 逃げるんだよ! Number one tactic. But that's not right. We're leaving the other warriors so that we can escape?
あんたがここにいて足手まといしかならない。いいか、来い。おい、もうちょっと言い方考えてやるって。そういう頃、とことん気が利かねえな。
Don't worry. Oh, for once, it's a don't worry from someone other than Yukimura. But yeah, drink for that. Harada. Nagakura. I was flushed with guilt, but there was nothing I could do to help, even if I stayed. I quickly bowed to the two of them, and Saito yanked my arm as we sprinted away together. Alright, so end scene. I'll save there, because we are past 2 hour runtime. Yeah, I'm gonna get him, blah blah blah. Oh, blah blah blah. But yeah, no, we've made some good progress tonight. We got to another chapter. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just wonder how many chapters are there gonna be in this this route. Because it feels like we're in endgame, but I know there has to be more. But yeah, no, thank you guys for tuning into the stream. As always, love chatting with you guys and hanging out. If you're just watching, I'm always glad to be entertainment. So I'm still leaning more towards streaming later tonight. Possibly. Maybe, like, you know, if I'm not too tired. Fear and Hunger. We'll do that later tonight. Later today, yeah. Or still tonight, but you know, not like immediately now, just excuse me, after a full 12 hours, right? So if anyone here is watching the stream right now and is part of my Discord server, please vote in our movie polls. I need to break the tie between Blade or Carrie. We'll be watching on Sunday most likely, and I'll make sure to update or, like, you know, leave a little announcement later today. Yeah, if no one votes, it's okay. I can have Kyler do a tiebreaker. But yeah, I mean, if anything, please, so I don't resort to tie breaking as much as possible. I don't like doing tiebreakers. The Kai breaker, yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then on Sunday, along with movie, because I should have plenty of time, we could do Persona 2. So that's the tentative plan for this the next 2 days, or you know, the next two, yeah, the next 2 streams at least. Things could change, of course, but of course I'll let you guys know, or you know, just keep your eyes peeled, right? But yeah, mata nene, my dudes. Hope you guys have a lovely rest of your night or day, wherever you may be. And I'll catch you guys later. Take care, stay safe out there, and peace out.